All right, let's dive deep into the world of credit and talk about what lenders really care about when they look at your report. And I'll give you a hint, it is probably not what you think it is. So let's get into it.
So, let me start by asking you a question. What do you think is the single most important thing a lender is looking for? Now, a lot of people, probably most people, would say, oh, a high score, an 800-plus score. And look, a great score is, well, it's great, but it's not the whole story. It's not even the real goal.
The real answer, the one word that matters most, is this: stability. Lenders are looking for a story that is calm, predictable, and frankly, a little bit boring. They value a stable track record so much more than a profile that's jumping all over the place, even if that profile has a really high score. Remember, you're not trying to look impressive, you're trying to look reliable. And that really brings us to our first big idea, which is totally resetting how we think about the goal of credit in the first place. It's all about shifting our focus from just chasing a number to understanding what that number is actually supposed to do for you. This idea right here, it reframes everything. The real prize isn't the three-digit score itself, it's what that score gets you. We're talking about access. It's about getting approved when you need it for the amount you actually want and with better interest rates that can literally save you thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars. And that kind of access, it only comes when a lender looks at your file and sees a calm, predictable pattern. So, how do we actually build that story? How do we prove we're reliable? Well, it all comes down to creating what's called a stable profile. Think of this as the absolute foundation of trust in the entire credit system. And that picture of stability, it's really built on 4 core signals. First, and this is non-negotiable, a consistent on-time payment history. That's just the baseline. Second, controlled account balances, and we are going to dive deep into that one in a minute. Third is having active accounts that are clearly being managed well. And finally, the one ingredient you can't rush, time. The longer your history of good behavior, the safer you look. You know, this slide perfectly shows a mistake so many people make. On the left, you've got the chaser. This person is obsessed with trying to scrub away past mistakes, but they aren't building anything new, so their profile just stays thin and weak. But now look at the builder on the right. They're focused on laying down new, strong, positive payment patterns month after month. And over time, all that new positive data just buries the old negatives into irrelevance. Building the positive is what really changes your story. Okay, now let's dive into one of the most powerful and honestly, one of the most misunderstood signals on your entire credit report: your credit utilization. This one thing can tell a lender whether your financial life is calm or if it's stressed, even if you've never, ever missed a payment. So what is it exactly? Well, to put it simply, utilization is just the percentage of your available credit that you're using at a given moment. So, if you have a $1,000 limit and your reported balance is $500, your utilization is 50%. It's a snapshot in time that signals how much you're depending on that credit to get through the month. Now, take a look at this example. We've got a credit card with a $5,000 limit, but it's reporting a balance of $4,500. That is 90% utilization. To a lender, this profile looks stressed out. It signals that this person is living right up against their limit. And here is the real kicker. Even if you pay this off in full a week later, this 90% snapshot is what gets reported, and it can temporarily tank your score and flag you as a risk. Now, let's contrast that with this calm signal. Same $5,000 limit, but here, the reported balance is just $500 or 10% utilization. See the difference? This person looks disciplined. They look like they're in control. They have plenty of room to breathe, which is exactly what a lender wants to see. And this all comes down to a really crucial misunderstanding about timing. Look at person A. They use a lot of their credit, but they're responsible, they always pay the bill on time. So what's the problem? The problem is the credit card company often reports their balance to the credit bureaus before that payment is made. So their profile is constantly screaming stress. Person B, on the other hand, just keeps their balances low all month long. They might be just as responsible as person A, but they're sending a completely different, much calmer signal. This leads us right into our next huge idea. When it comes to building credit, you have to think about pacing, not racing. The credit system does not reward urgency. In fact, it does the opposite. It often flags urgency as a potential risk. I love this quote because it just gets right to the heart of it. You could be making all the right moves, but if you do them all at once, you can actually make your profile look weaker. The system is designed to reward calm, predictable growth that happens in phases, not a frantic burst of activity. So pacing really just comes down to managing 3 key things. First, your account age. Every single new account you open brings this average down, making your profile look younger and less established. Second, inquiries. Those are the official checks lenders make when you apply for stuff. A few here and there are totally normal, but a whole cluster of them in a short time, that signals desperation. And that all leads to the third element, intentionally pacing your applications. Give your profile time to breathe and stabilize between each move.
And here is just a perfect example of that. The racer gets super motivated and applies for 3 new credit cards in a single month. Even if they get approved for all of them, their profile now looks chaotic to a lender. But the pacer? They open one account, manage it perfectly for 6 or 7 months, and then they think about their next move. Lenders see that as consistency, and they reward it. So let's bring all of this together now. All these principles, stability, utilization, pacing, they're all pointing to one thing: becoming loan ready for when you need to make that big financial move, like buying a car or a house.
And this is the final mindset shift you have to make. An application for a mortgage or a car loan is not a practice run. It is not an experiment to just see what happens. Every single application leaves a footprint on your report, and it triggers a serious evaluation. A successful application isn't about luck. It's about being aligned and well-planned.
When you apply, lenders look beyond just your score to answer 3 really important questions. First, stability. Is everything on this profile calm right now? No last-minute surprises or chaos. Second, capacity. Looking at all your existing debts, can you truly absorb this new loan? And third, your track record. Does the amount of money you're asking for make sense based on what you've successfully handled in the past?
So before you ever hit that submit button, here's your checklist. Is your profile stable with no recent surprises? Are all your balances low and under control? Have you avoided a flurry of recent applications? And does the loan you're asking for seem like a logical next step? If you can check all of these boxes, then congratulations, you are truly loan ready.
And that just leaves us with one final thought to wrap this all up. I want you to take a step back and try to see your own credit profile through a lender's eyes. Right now, at this very moment, is it telling a story of calm stability, or is it telling a story of stress? Because the answer to that question, that is the real key to unlocking your financial future.